treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have two announcements to make. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of the pupils and teachers from Akwaya Academy in Chongwe district. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. Thank you. You may take your seats. The second announcement, honorable members, is that before we move to the next item, sorry. I was jumping the gun, apologies. So we proceed with our work. Urgent matters without notice. Urgent matters without notice, going one, going twice, going 3 times is fallen off. No matters, very surprising today, no matters of urgent public importance. Presentation of government bill. The Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the Kazungula Bridge Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill 12 of 2024. The objects of the bill are to A, give effect to the agreement relating to the establishment of Kazungula Bridge Authority made between the Government of the Republic of Zambia and the Government of the Republic of Botswana. And, Madam Speaker, B, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Let the bill be read the first time.
The Kazungula Bridge Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2024.
Order, honorable members. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill. Order, honorable members. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House by Thursday, 1st August 2024. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Questions for oral answer and understanding order 80. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
397, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister, the Honorable, is it Acting Minister? No, I can't. The Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Fulve, to ask the Minister of Green Economy and the Environment, whether the government has any plans to develop a rural-based ecological policy for mitigation climate change. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, whether such a policy will be supported by a legislative framework. Madam Speaker, the response is as follows. Answer to question A. Government has no plans to develop a rural-based ecological policy for mitigating climate change, as the current national policy on environment of 2007 is comprehensive enough and provides an all-inclusive framework for sound protection and management of Zambia's environment and natural resources in their entirety, whether in rural or urban areas. In addition, the National Policy on Climate Change of 2016 and its adaptation plan are also comprehensive enough to address climate change imperatives in both rural and urban areas. Further, the second National Biodiversity Action Plan aims at improving the status of biodiversity by safeguarding ecosystems, species and genetic diversity in both rural and urban areas. Madam Speaker, the answer to question B. No such plans will be implemented, as there will be no development of a rural-based ecological policy, as the existing policies sufficiently addresses ecological issues in both urban and rural areas. However, with the present policy framework, my ministry is implementing several projects in both urban and rural areas aimed at enhancing ecological integrity and mitigating climate change. A few examples are as follows. 1. The Lake Tanganyika Development Project in Mpulungu and in Sama districts, whose goal is to improve the quality of livelihoods of populations depending on Lake Tanganyika and protect the ecological integrity of the lake basin. Among others, the project has established community forests covering a total of 25,609 hectares in 5 communities in Mpulungu and 3 communities in Sama district. It has established woodlots covering 87.35 hectares in 309 households of Mpulungu and 213 households in Nsama. Beekeeping has been developed and 9,529 beehives have been distributed, benefiting 1,341 households in Mpulungu and 537 in Nsama. In addition, the project has established 2,641 hectares of conservation farming crop diversification, benefiting 11,536 farmers. It has developed irrigation schemes to irrigate 105 hectares and benefiting 250 households in Mpulungu and 60 households in Nsama district. Regarding fisheries development, the project piloted fish cage farming and installed 12 fish cages, benefiting 180 households in Mpulungu and 120 households in Nsama. About 4.9 tons were harvested, amounting to 308,244 kwacha. On infrastructure development, the project has constructed rural health centers, 6 in Mpulungu and 4 in Nsama districts, providing general health services to 109,884 people, including 1,099 women, accessed farming planning services, and has created 26 permanent jobs. The Nsumbu Hospital has been constructed in Nsumbu, which has potential to offer health services to 77,651 people when it becomes operational. 11 primary schools in Mpulungu, 2 in Nsama, and these constructed benefiting 571 early childhood education pupils, 6,816 primary pupils, and 1,268 secondary pupils annually. The Cassava Bay Boarding School will benefit 645 pupils annually, and the Sumbu Skills Training Institute has capacity to train 100 students annually. The project has constructed 18.4 kilometers of access roads, crossings, points, benefiting approximately 20,000 people in Mpulungu. In order to enhance information communication, the project has constructed 2 community radio stations, and 1 in Mpulungu and 1 in Nsama. It is estimated that the Mpulungu radio station will cover 85% of Mpulungu population, reaching out to about 153,564 people. 2. Sustainable Luanga project in Mafinga district, whose objective is to reduce forest and land degradation of the Luanga upper sub-catchment for enhancement, protection of water resources, conservation of biodiversity, and development of associated community livelihoods. The project is in its early stages of implementation and has initiated assessments on biodiversity, forestry, and socio-economic situation. 3. Building the resilience of local communities in Zambia through the introduction of ecosystem-based adaptation into priority ecosystems, including wetlands and forest project. This project aims to address climate change vulnerability of rural communities to climate change risk resulting from the ongoing ecosystem degradation of wetlands and forests. The project is in its initial stages of implementation and has since mapped the Lukanga swamps and zoned areas covered by invasive alien species and established community forestry groups. 4. The Zambia Integrated Forest Landscape Project in Eastern Province aimed to improve landscape management and increase environmental and economic benefits for targeted rural communities in the Eastern Province. The project has financed on-the-ground activities that aim to improve rural livelihoods, conserve ecosystems and biodiversity, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Among others, the project has trained a total 338 agriculture extension officers in climate-smart agriculture technologies. It has supplied farming equipment and inputs to the 478 farmers' field schools in 239 agriculture camps. About 10,755, out of which 6,631 are male and 4,124 female. Lead farmers have been recruited and trained, who have also recruited and trained 104,612, of which 49,472 males and 59,339 female follower farmers. ZIFILP has commenced the establishment of 21 smallholder farmer-led irrigation schemes that will benefit 1,050 rural farmers. So far, 2 schemes have been completed. A total of 169,702 hectares of agricultural land has been put under climate-smart agriculture in the province against the project target of 59,000 hectares, and 80,000 farmers have adopted climate smart agriculture practices. Cumulatively, the project has established a total of 104.8 hectares of forest plantations. In addition, a total of 1,489,000 seedlings of assorted trees species were raised and planted. 28 community forest management groups have been established and 72,401 hectares of forest land area has been brought under sustainable management against the project target of 66,000. In addition, the project has procured and distributed 179 institutional energy efficient cook stoves to 20 boarding schools and 1 prison in the province, and distributed 1,292 portable cook stoves, bringing to 3,902 cook stoves constructed, procured, and distributed under the project. ZIFIP has supported the demarcation, clearing, and becoming of the entire Lukusuzi National Park, which is 2,720 kilometers squared. The entire Luambe National Park, which is 254 square kilometers, to reduce encroachment. With project support, the Department of National Parks and Wildlife has undertaken a total of 9,874 field patrols, resulting in 888 arrests of poachers and illegal miners. 12 pangolins have also been recovered in the process. 3 staff houses, control room, and park entry gate have been constructed at Roncamp for Luambe National Park, while 3 staff houses and control room have been built at Karimbi Camp, and 6 watering holes, 2 in Luambe National Park and 4 Lukusuzi National Park.
Sorry, Honorable Minister, I don't know if we were on the same page. The question is asking of any plans, if the government has any plans to develop a rural-based order. So the question, Honorable Minister, is asking whether the government has any plans to develop a rural-based ecological policy for mitigating climate change. You said there are no plans because there is already in existence a comprehensive policy on that, covering both rural and urban. The B is asking, if so, when the plans will be implemented. So to some extent, you already indicated that it's being implemented, and you gave indication of what has been done by way of implementation. The next one, C, is whether this policy will be supported by a legislative framework. So maybe the Honorable Minister can move and answer, indicate whether the policy will be, since there is already a comprehensive policy framework, whether this will be covered by a legislative framework. I don't know if you are... Yes, if we could do that so that we don't turn the question into a ministerial statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I was given a very long response. That's why I sort of meandered away from the main question. I think, Madam Speaker, that is my submission.
I don't know if we heard the Honorable Minister talk about whether there will be a legal framework to cover. Okay, let's make progress. We can ask supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Madam Speaker, an ecological policy, among other things, is supposed to cover microsystems, mesosystems, exosystems, macro systems and I'm also supposed to cover chrono systems. Perusing through the 2007 policy, it has a very wide and general approach, which leaves out about three systems out of the recommended 5 systems, meaning that that question was asked and inspired out of the gaps that are in the policy. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I also want to submit that the Environmental Management Act, or number 12 of 2011, also has some gaps. That's why the legislative comes in. Then even the Act of Act number 8 of 2023 also has some gaps. No, I want just to, because the minister talked about a lot of projects that were just fine. Given that background, Madam Speaker, I would like the ministry to churn out why we asked about the rural areas. It's the only hope that we have currently, because much of the land, and since environment includes a lot of things, which are, among other things, the use of land, trees, air pollution, and many other factors. What I wanted from this question, Madam Speaker, is to churn out the rural area, which is also in charge of about 85% of arable land. But I don't think that the question, the presentation by the minister, which had many, I'm also showing
all
how
the honorable members, how many presiding officers are here today?
Yeah.
All the honorable members. Two wrongs don't make a right. So what we have to do is, honorable member for Chilubi, ask your supplementary question. You heard in the answer that the minister said there is already a comprehensive policy. So what is your question following what the honorable minister has said?
Madam Speaker, I'm saying that the policy that is there has a lot of gaps as it concerns ecological management. And that's my submission. Then I wanted to find out whether government has any intention to embark, especially that my question qualified, to react to climate change. That's what my question said. So at the problem, I know that the minister is in an acting position, and that's why.
Order, honorable member. Just concentrate on your question. So ask a clear question so the minister can understand and also give a clear answer. So I don't know if the honorable minister has gotten the question.
I don't know if the government is considering to develop specifically ecological policy that's to deal with the rural areas, protecting the rural areas, to react to climate change. That's what I asked.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of
Madam Speaker, the answer to that is yes, and I can add further that the national policy on environment is supported by the Environmental Management Act, which is amended number 8 of 2023, which is read together with the Environmental Management Act number 12 of 2011. Also, the national policy on climate change will be supported by the Climate Change Act when its present bill is passed by Parliament. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kamfinso.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to ask the Acting Minister of Green Economy, considering that the policy from your response is available, and considering that the question was about the gaps that are there in the existing policy, how are you measuring the impact of the current policy in as far as the objectives are concerned? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, in my response, I had indicated that there is a comprehensive document regarding the question at hand, and if there are any gaps that has been identified, I would encourage the Honourable Member of Parliament for Chilubi to contact us so that we can look at exactly what gaps is referring to. I submit.
What's the point of order, Honorable Member Fonkana?
Madam Speaker, I rise to raise this point of order on the Chief Whip. Clearly, Madam Speaker, you can see how much we have struggled on this question, owing to the fact that the minister who is representing his counterpart is very ill prepared.
Order, Honorable Member for...
There is a minister who was substantive minister in that ministry. Is the Chief Whip.
Order, Honorable Member. If you want to raise a point of order, raise it in another way than to look at how the performance or how the acting minister has performed.
Because Madam Speaker, minister. We're just troubling
that's not a proper way to raise a point of order. If you have any concerns, you can... if you have a better answer, Honorable Member Fonkana, better than what the Honorable Acting Minister has stated, you can lay it on the table so that we hold the Honorable Minister accountable. Because your assessment is just subjective. So let's make progress. The Honorable Member for Chimwemwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've said that the policy is adequate. In certain countries, Honorable Minister, what they're doing is to conserve, to allow the rural areas conserve forests. They allow them to get income from the credits that are sold. Do we have such a situation in our country? Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The answer to that is that carbon credit is coming in the climate bill, which will be presented to Parliament soon, and it will be addressed accordingly. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Madam Speaker, I think I will engage the ministry at a detailed level.
That's good. When you have an idea, you can present your idea so that we improve on what is obtainable on the ground. The Honorable Member for Nalolo.
Madam Speaker, this is a very important question in light of climate change, and I'll definitely join the member of Chilubi. But rather to say I'm disappointed that government can say they have no plans for a rural ecological policy. This is why we have human-animal conflict, because the rural perspective of the climate issues is too technical. And when you look at the various pieces of legislation, the Forest Act, all these, there must be a policy that speaks to the rural aspect. And this, Madam Speaker, is the same in other SADC countries. So instead of laboring to ask this question, we will engage the ministry, but I would seriously ask the minister to relook at the gaps that come from nationalizing the rural issues of ecology. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. From what I heard from the Honorable Minister, if I heard him correct, he says there is a comprehensive policy document covering both rural and urban. But of course, there could be some gaps where you, Honorable Member for Nalolo, and the Honorable Member for Chilubi can approach and make some proposals, especially that there is a bill that is coming, which you can make meaningful contributions to, considering that the last debate that we had on carbon trading, well, we didn't do very well. So we make progress. We go to the next question. The next question, the Honorable Member for Mbavala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Mbavala an opportunity to ask question number 398.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Mr. Monsanje, the Honourable Member of Parliament for Mbavala, to ask the Minister of Health when the following health posts in Mbavala parliamentary constituency will be operationalized. 1. Kachenje in Nchembe Ward. Number 2, Nabukoa in Nchembe Ward. 3, Katumbi in Mutanga Ward. 4, Haka Lower in Simaubi Ward. Number 5, Mwana Cheu in Manguza Ward. Number 6, Halumba in Ngonga Ward. 7, Kaseko in Maja Ward. Number 8, Namianda in Kabimba Ward. 9, Mauwe in Mbavala Ward. And 10, Mayobo in Kabanze Mayobo Ward. In response to these questions by the Honourable Member for Mbavala, Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the following posts in Mbavala parliamentary constituency are at different stages of construction and are being implemented using the Constituency Development Fund, and these are basically the ones that were alluded to. Madam Speaker, the 10 health posts in Mbavala constituency will be operationalized upon completion of the construction works and provision of piped water, flushable toilets, energy sources, medical equipment, and human resource. As well as, Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that the guidance has already been provided to the local authorities to include the provision of piped water, flushable toilets, and energy sources wherever CDF is used to construct health facilities or indeed maternity annexes. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honourable Member for Mbavala.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you so much, Honourable Acting Minister of Health, for that response. Indeed, these clinics have been built under CDF, and we have completed them, though they started at various points in the past. And I think what is disheartening is that some of these clinics have been built for the last 20 years. You look at Kachenje, Old Kachenje, you look at Namianda. These are clinics that have been built for the last 20 years. And up to today, they are not functional. So the community is at pains now that with the enhanced CDF, thanks to His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, that the CDF went up. Then his CDF, we have completed everything in a number of them, in terms of piped water, in terms of incinerators. Maybe we don't have flushable toilets because this is a new development about flushable toilets. But the other things, the requirements, under 2024, we have even allocated the funding for equipment, 150 to 200,000 each for equipment under 2024. So apart from Mayobo and the Maowe, which are not yet completed structure-wise, the rest, all the infrastructure is there. What we request is for the ministry to urgently and immediately come and open these clinics so that the presidential directive to bring health as close to the family as possible is attained. And I ask you, Honourable Minister, when are you going to do that?
Honourable Member from Mbavala, please ask a supplementary question. This is not a time for debating. Ask a supplementary question.
Madam Speaker, I ask that for these ones which are ready, where everything is ready, in line with what the ministry or the minister has put as this is what is required, when are they going to be immediately opened to save the people of Mbabala? That's what I'm asking.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that question. Madam Speaker, suffice to say that the Honourable Member pretty much asks a question which is within the ambit of his responsibility as Member of Parliament. The Honourable Member is aware that CDF is executed together with local authorities as executing agencies. Once a project is completed, the onus is on the Honourable Member, together with the local authority, to indeed have a checklist and be able to say that everything has been done. At that point, Madam Speaker, all what the Honourable Member must do is request the Minister of Health to indeed provide whatever else is necessary in terms of manpower to be able to operationalize these particular health posts. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. I see a lot of interest. This is a constituency-based question. We are supposed to move very quickly. The Honourable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, I'm listening to the answers that the Acting Minister of Health is providing to a very, very important question by the MP from Mbabala. And I want to find out, from a policy point of view, and for me it's policy issues, Acting Minister, from a policy point of view, what's the policy of government on a health facility that has been built under CDF that needs to be made operational? Because Kamfinsa constituency, as well as other constituencies, including Mbabala, have literally the same challenge, Madam Speaker. The health facility is built, but there is no staff to get into this health facility, and as a result, this health facility can't work. So, Madam Speaker, from a policy point of view, what's the policy of government in relation to the question at hand? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Acting Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, the policy is pretty straightforward. The essence of CDF being able to supplement government effort in providing health services to its people is such that we should be able to bring health services closer to the community. And this is why this new Dawn administration, Madam Speaker, has gone out of its way to ensure that as many health personnel have been recruited under this government to ensure that all these health posts and facilities which are coming up are able to be equipped with manpower. Yes, the policy is that we must take health closer to the people, and that where CDF has supplemented government effort, we shall not hesitate but to be able to complement the necessary staff in order to operationalize these particular posts. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member from Mbabala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And I wish to commend government, and particularly the Minister of Health, for the recruitment of the health staff. Madam Speaker and Honourable Minister, given that these, a number of them, like almost 8 out of that list, have got everything except the health staff that have been recruited, are you able to give an assurance to the people of Mbabala that within this time frame, these clinics will be opened? Because all we are waiting for is manpower, because we have provided our equipment, money for equipment, and we have provided the water and everything else. Is the ministry able to give us an assurance? In order to, this is the whole instance of CDF, which we are using, which we thank government for. We have used it correctly to reach this level, and we now need the helping hand of human resource. And of course, drugs.
The Honourable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, Madam Speaker, I think that it is extremely important, and I guess this advice must go to all honourable members of this House. The honourable member will pretty much get a quicker response once the honourable member engages the ministry. Please go to the ministry and say that these particular posts are ready for commissioning and operationalization, and the Minister of Health will definitely attend to you and ensure that these posts, which have been made available courtesy of CDF, which has also been made available to the Zambian people by His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, are indeed there to service our people. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Madam Speaker, I appreciate for the opportunity.
Well, sorry, Honorable Member for Kwacha, there is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Shuangandu, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my point of order is pursuant to Standing Order 71. That the information we table in this August House must be factual and verifiable. We sympathize with the Honorable Minister who is acting in the midst of health, where, because you are not gripped with the information that is necessary. And we can see that we don't know whether the form has
Honorable
gone
Member
or
for
not.
Shuangandu, please raise your point of order.
Madam Speaker, in response to the Honorable MP for Kamfinsa's follow-up question, who was seeking to know the policy position of providing primary health care to our people, the Minister went to talk about taking health care closer to the people and mainly referring to the CDF. We are aware, Madam Speaker, that through the implementation of the decentralization policy, the primary health care services have now been delegated to the local authorities. And what is needed now, Madam Speaker, is to have a clear-cut policy on who is going to be responsible for what. Procurement of health equipment, Madam Speaker, is an expensive undertaking which requires colossal sums of money, and the CDF can only do as much. Was the Honorable Minister in order, Madam Speaker, to avoid speaking to the police position so that all those that are building clinics with the paradigm shift in terms of managing healthcare services can know what is to be done at what point and who is responsible for the deployment of medical staff to these healthy facilities, and whether those rural health facilities should also be expecting to receive supplies from ZAMSA, which is now an organized, confused institution. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Now the problem, you can start very well asking a point of order, then you bring in ZAMSA, as if ZAMSA is part of this question. The Honorable Minister, please, there was a question, what is the policy, government policy on this issue of operationalization of the health facilities?
Madam Speaker, I did speak to the policy position of the Ministry of Health. Guidelines have been set up of what must constitute the completion of a health post. Once that has been done, Madam Speaker, it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Health and not the local authority to provide personnel for that particular post. There is nothing complex about a clinic in George Ward in Ndola Central. I've commissioned a clinic, and there is no equipment which is so expensive that you are saying we are not able to procure at that particular level. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Since the question is specific, it didn't talk about the policy. Maybe we are taking the Honorable Minister by surprise. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu can put a specific question to address that concern. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't say agent. You are adding agent yourself. Can we go back to the Honorable Honorable Member for Kwacha?
Madam Speaker, I appreciate for the opportunity given. Honorable Minister, a government is a going concern. I say so because the previous government had plans to embark on a countrywide construction of 600 health posts, if I'm not mistaken. And in line with the question that the Honorable Member for Mbabala asked, is this program on course? Because if it's on course, then we have no doubt that the health posts which the Honorable Member is requesting to be constructed can be absorbed within those 600 health posts. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Health, I don't know if you got the question. Or it was a comment. We can ask one more question. The Honorable Member for Matero.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Acting Minister of Health. My question is on the policy of this government on health. We were told health has been devolved, not decentralized. Devolved means health has been taken to the people, beginning below level 1. So level 1 to specialized UTH, levy, they report to the Ministry of Health. Below the clinics and what is being asked in Mbabala, ideally they report to local government, to the council. So the question is, Acting Minister, don't you see that why the health post has not been opened in Mbabala is because the policy and what's happening on the ground, they are not agreeing. On the ground, reality is that the council should hire those volunteers in Choma, the nurses, and send them to Mbabala and open that health post. But it's the Ministry of Health being expected to send the workers. In the process, the health post is not operational. What is your ministry or the government doing to ensure that the policy and what is happening on the ground agrees, especially with the health post? I thank you.
It's a repetition of the question by the Honorable, or the point that was raised by the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu. The Honorable Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you to the former President of PF for that question. Madam Speaker, I'm afraid we are dealing with a very specific question, and it appears that now the honourable members are delving outside the realm of that original question. And I would suggest, Madam Speaker, that they put in another question to answer to specific issues. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Just an observation. I think when we are acting, we should be given the scripts in good time so that we prepare. Otherwise, we are not achieving anything. At the rate that we are going, we are not achieving anything. Let's make progress to the next question. The Honorable Member for Chadiza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. People of Chadiza are asking question 399.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Jonathan Daka, Member of Parliament for Chadiza constituency, asked the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security what measures the government is implementing to enhance service delivery in the police service countrywide. Madam Speaker, in responding to the question asked by the Honorable Member, I wish to state that government has been implementing a number of interventions aimed at enhancing service delivery in the Zambia Police Service countrywide, and these include the following. 1. Community policing initiatives. Government has been implementing community policing initiatives aimed at forging stronger collaboration between the police and the community. With these initiatives, members of the community have become active allies in the effort to enhance the safety and quality of neighborhoods. 2. Procurement of 156 motor vehicles. These are land cruisers by government through CDF. Government procured 156 motor vehicles which have since been distributed to all constituencies countrywide in order to mitigate operational challenges the police service has been facing over time. Government attaches great importance to operational efficiency and enhanced quality service delivery to all its citizens across the country. 3. Recruitment of 2,000 police constables to enhance staffing levels. The recruitment of 2,000 constables by the Zambia Police Service is expected to improve service delivery across the country by increasing police presence to prevent crime and adding numbers of police officers to respond to security concerns from members of the public, among others. 4. Operationalization of the new Zambia Police Service structure. Government has embarked on the operationalization of the expanded approved police structure. By operationalizing the expanded structure, there will be more human resources deployed, there will be improved response times, there will be improved access to services, and proactive community engagement aimed at creating a more secure environment. 5. Implementation of Safe City Project. Government is implementing the Safe City Project aimed at enhancing the capabilities of the Zambia Police Service by integrating advanced surveillance technologies. The project provides the police with the following. A. Video surveillance system, VSS. Surveillance cameras have been deployed in 4 cities, namely Lusaka, Livingstone, Kitwe, and Ndola, targeting main roads and other important areas of security concern. These cameras are assisting the police in monitoring the environment in which they are deployed for 24/7, as well as reviewing past incidents and events. B. Intelligence Traffic System, ITS. ITS cameras are strategically placed on the main roads to monitor motorist behavior and any violation of road rules and regulations. This system has been integrated with the Road Transport and Safety Agency RATSA system. This has assisted in the reduction of physical speed traps, which were manned by traffic officers. C. Electronic